Hello, everyone, and welcome to, oh my goodness, I forgot
the Women's
it.
Cave?
Yes, let's go with the Women's Cave, but it's Meet Hollywood Monday.
And Meet Hollywood.
No, I lied all together. I lied.
And the Ladies Tale podcast.
It's the Ladies Tale podcast.
You know,
we're using this one.
I'm gonna just keep saying names until she says I'm right, and then I'll be right.
It's the Ladies Tale podcast.
Wow, Winona, you let me go through the whole list too. You didn't let me go right on through. Thanks, Winona, for that. Thank you.
I'm more than happy to let you do. Do you want to do it again?
You know what, Winona?
Anyway, I'm Jade. Oh yes, and I'm Winona. Great.
No high five for you today. No high five for you.
This is terrible. I'm gonna have to drink champagne on camera because this is a bad day.
On camera, though?
It gives me a reason to drink.
I think you just were making it up. I think you placed it right there off the side because you just wanted to drink it anyway.
That is true. I guess
you just made something up. She made up a reason. Anyway, we wrote literary life after pop poetry. And yeah, I'm not gonna go through the whole list because we have a panel today, and it's amazing. And Winona destroyed my set, so it doesn't really matter. All right, and you can find out everything. Do you want to know about your ladies on www.andwethorn.com?
But if you would like the abbreviated one, then you can find out everything at www.andithoughladies.com. I did that slowly, so one of the managers on here will know that we took their advice. Moving on.
Oh, okay. Anyway, yeah, so we have co-host today, Ms. Tanya Todd. Would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi, I am Tanya Todd. I'm an author, actress, and the new host for the 52 Love podcast.
Which makes us happy every time she says that. And you also check out her IMDb because,
that's how she gets jobs.
All right.
And we love to see her get paid.
Yes. Yes. We love it. Joe?
Hi, I'm Joe Sands. I am a voice narrator, an entrepreneur, author, and the host of the Joe Show podcast.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All right. So we have a lot of guests to get to. We're just going to start right on in there and do this thing.
So the first one to introduce himself is Craig. Would you like to introduce yourself? Just tell us a few things about yourself.
My name's Craig Rogowsky. I'm founding talent manager for CK Talent Management. And we manage actors and models and influencers and podcasters and that sort of thing. And I think that's basically it. Just
fabulous. Thank you.
More fancy. Keep it simple.
And I believe he's going to be one of the 25 hottest.
Yes, it's coming up on the new magazine.
Yeah.
I got a funny story about that.
I love this is great stories also.
Soon as I finish introductions. Jen?
Yes. My name is Jen David, and I'm a film and television agent here in the Southeast. I'm also an entrepreneur. I have launched things totally non-related to entertainment, but I'm here today because I'm a theatrical agent.
Thank you. Kevin?
Oh, sure. Kevin E. West, veteran television actor. Let's see, my reference usually as my first guest star was Matlock, so that'll tell you how long I've been doing this. All the way from stand-up comic, improv artist, founder of the Actors Network, award-winning business organization for actors, as well as a 3-time author and international show business expert speaker.
Alice.
I love his list, by the way.
I know, right?
He's like, no, I'm going to include it all.
And Sue? Sue, you're muted. Just wanted to say it. Isn't that the Zoom world nowadays?
Hello, I'm here. I'm back.
Yay!
Hi. I'm Sue Sheridan. I'm a talent agent. I run a bespoke talent agency in London. I'm also a songwriter and had a number of little dance hits.
That's fabulous. And this panel is called behind
the business behind the creative panel. So this is where we're going to figure out how you make your creative energies turn into actual income. Because there are a lot of people with creative energies, and a lot of people don't know how or why they become income. And we're going to start
how or why they become income.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. We'll go.
How their creative energies become income, or
there it is.
Why they need these people for them to become income.
Okay, I just wanted to make sure.
So I missed a few words. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you missed a few words. All right, so Winona, you have some questions.
I do, and I'm going to start off with our first question, which is, what is the business behind? What does it mean? Like the business part behind the creative? What do you guys do? How do you do it?
Anyone?
And just go ahead and speak up, because we don't believe in the whole raise your hand first and then say something.
Do you believe in repeating the question again?
I love how you said that, Jill. Do you believe in that?
Okay, so for the business, my first big question is, what does the business part of behind the creative for you look like, and how do you do what you do?
But like everyone.
For everyone.
Ooh, that is a Grand Canyon wide question, ladies.
Of course, of course.
Okay, let's try to do it with 5 sentences or less. Can we do that?
Well, I think for representatives, it's going to be a slightly different attitude than it is for a performer. And if you're a performer, then it depends on whether or not you're trying to make money in which aspect of performing. And influencer content is completely different, as well as creative author writing book content. So I think some of the business from each of those would be probably a little bit different from my chair anyway.
So for you as an actor, you've made a career. Can you tell us like what part of the business that you have to understand to make this career as an actor?
Well, that's 125 hours in my head, so I'll try and spare you guys 124 of that in 59 minutes. But one of the first things I would say for most actors is we don't tend to understand that part of getting into the business means that you just happen to be a physical product for sale. And it's very disconcerting and very insensitive for a lot of us, and that's coming from a Pisces. But the truth of the matter is, no matter how much Jen may love you as a person, the reality is you are a piece of product she is trying to get bought and sold. And that's just a reality that we don't. And if you can start with that reality about the business, I think it actually makes being an artist much easier, in my opinion.
Thank you.
Anyone else?
So since we heard Jen's name, we might as well jump over to Jen. Jen, as an agent, what part of the business do you take care of, and how do you do that?
My main job is getting auditions for as many auditions for the actors that I have on my roster. And exactly what Kevin said, it's very fast. It's pitching, it's submitting, it's getting, as much stuff in as I can in one day. But if I don't have what I need and the actor doesn't give me what I need, then I can't do that. I can't pitch and sell them. So there's a lot of work on their part too, for my job to even work.
So Craig and or Sue, how does management work for a client? What's the business lay of the land look like for you?
I deal with a lot of different talent. So the pitching is still involved. The looking for work is still involved. And it's very true what Jen said. If we haven't got the right headshots, the show reel, the voice reel, and it's hard to do our job because we need to know who they are. But I think what makes it less cold for me and less cold with my clients, I don't just deal with that side of the business. I look at them as people. I get to know them, get to know their personality, how their brain works, what else are they doing? Because when you're pitching, you can say, by the way, they are interested in this and this could help with the role. Say, for example, someone's got a part-time job in a bar or in housing or in other sectors, because you do need a part-time job. You cannot just depend on being an actor when you first start out. You do need a part-time job. But look at what they're doing on Instagram. Look what they're tweeting. If you think that something's going to be detrimental to them, tell them. Be honest and say, you know what, if a casting director see that their views are slightly different, don't stop being who you are. But at the same time, invest in your client, invest in who they are as people. Don't just sell them, invest in them, give a part of yourself to them. And it's quite easy to do. It doesn't have to be that cold.
Craig?
Oh, I agree with what Sue said. You've got to look at what's unique to your client and what's unique to your talent. When I get a breakdown, I kind of look at it as, is there a quality about this breakdown or this role that is embodied in my talent? If it's an OCD role, are they OCD in their regular life? and that way it'll make it easier when they're doing a self-tape. It'll make it easier for the casting director to relate to them. So I always look to see, and I don't send it out to every single talent. If I get a breakdown for 18 to 25-year-old, I'm not going to send it out to 50 talent, because then the casting directors don't appreciate 50 talent self-tapes coming into them. So I look at it as a unique quality that my talent might have, and I try to submit that. So I agree a lot with what Sue said, and I agree with what Jen said about it as well too. You have to do that.
I would say that us agents, we have to also think like casting directors, like, and almost kind of cast our talent in those different, breakdowns and whatever, character that is in the breakdown. Because at the end of the day, we want our talent to do well, whether they get it or not. We want them to send in a great tape. So then, casting, so it all works, and at least they did a good read, and the character was right for them.
Love this information.
Yeah,
I feel like I should jump into acting and leave this author thing behind.
No, we should not.
No. I know
we leave that to Tanya.
Yes,
You can do both. You can do both.
We leave that to Tanya.
Not with this face.
Your face is adorable.
So no, Craig, I did have a follow-up question. Is it the same in the sports world? Because I heard you say sports as well.
Matching them with brands, yes, not so much with sports teams. Sports teams, they have to have obviously the unique ability to throw a ball or, hit a cricket mallet or what have you. But matching with brands and working with influencers that we have in our digital media department in the agency, it's all about pairing them with the right brand and the right, I had a talent. I have a talent in the influencer division who's vegan. And we almost went to contract, and he says to me, well, what are the pill pods made out of? And I said, I don't know, I'll ask them. And it turns out they weren't vegan, so we didn't sign the contract because it didn't meet with what his thing was. It would have been a great commission for us, but it would have ruined his image, and it would have been, hypocritical for him to sign. So he didn't want to sign it. I don't ever want to push a talent to sign something that they feel down in their soul they're not. And so we always put in our agency, commissions are always third. It's talent first, agency second, and then money third in our agency. That's the way we always look at it as well.
Craig, I just remembered something about you that I just want people to know. So quick question. Is it the same internationally as it is in the United States? Because I believe you have international talent managed companies.
Yeah. It's different in different regions. In India, it's about personal and cultural relationships that you must build. It's pretty much the same as in the Asia Pacific region as well. Australia, this is interesting. Sue, don't jump on me when I'm about to say this, please. But in Australia, my English talent have a hard time getting roles because they don't like to cast UK talent. And I've had a lot of my UK talent leave Australia to go back to England, because it's tough for them to get roles. This is what I hear from my Australian branch in Australia, because of the fact of the dialects and such. For some reason, there's that. So there is cultural different things in different parts of the world, that yield themselves to actors getting cast. Not so much I see it in the influencer realm or the sports realm, but I do see it a lot in the acting realm of things.
It's funny you should say that. I've got talent in Australia now. She's Australian, and she went back home for Christmas, and she said, I don't want to miss out on any roles or anything else, but she's thriving over there, and she struggles here, but she's thriving over there. And they've just gone into lockdown, by the way. She just emailed me. She said, just gone into lockdown. I was like, oh no, poor thing. But she is absolutely thriving back home. And I said to her, are you sure you really want to come back in March to the UK? Because you are doing so well over there. But she's Australian, but she tried her hand here. So yeah, it is weird. It is weird.
Yeah, I mean, Sue, that's my talent that were
Yeah.
in Australia were not Australian nationals; they were UK
Yeah.
nationals, and they had a struggle to even get roles over there. And they also had a local. We have a division in Sydney, but they also had local management over there, and it was a struggle for local, even an Australian-owned agency, to find them work, too. So they came back to England.
Australians like to cast Australians.
That's right.
The
That's
bottom
what I was
line.
saying. Yeah.
That's the bottom line. Yeah.
Yeah.
UK
Yeah.
talent have struggles to get work over here.
I know we deal in the UK too, Sue. So I hear you. I hear it.
Oh gosh, it's so tough, right?
Yeah, it is over there. We're most people don't know that CK is a UK agency. That's our corporate headquarters is in London. So
Oh wow. Okay.
even though I don't
I'm
sound it.
expecting a visit when I want to tour when I go visit. I'm joking.
No, we're joking.
We're so joking.
Okay. So now let's talk about another question, right? I'm gonna like
Gauge your question,
give the
and then we're gonna
softball question, and then we're gonna let Tanya and Joe have questions. So, what is a common misconception about your line of work? All of you have like different lines of work. What is one of the common misconceptions that you get all the time?
Everyone thinks it's glamorous and that you're just going to premieres all the time.
Oh,
And just because you have an agent, it's guaranteed work.
Oh my God, Jen, thanks for saying that.
Yep.
Oh, thank you so much. And they think they sign with me and they're going to become Zac Efron tomorrow.
I know. Yep.
Hey, how many times that's happened to me? Oh, it's just, it's crazy.
Constant.
You have to put,
It's constant.
Kevin,
one
what's
of
the
my-
actor's viewpoint?
yeah.
Sorry.
Well, I mean, there is a lot of that performers, clients, and agents have in common, in that a lot of actors do believe that all they need to do is just get a picture, have a demo reel, and get an agent, and it's all done. I can just, wait for, the shit to just start flying in. But my favorite little story about the perception of being an actor is, if you're young and your daughter comes home and tells the fairly well-to-do father that I've fallen in love with an actor, his first comment is, "Oh Jesus, how's he ever going to pay the bills?" And as soon as actors say that we have a problem from a union standpoint of the fact that 98% of our membership doesn't make any money, everybody thinks that we're all millionaires. So I find that paradox quite telling. And so the reality is that 98% of actors, not necessarily influencers or content creators or other elements, but don't make more than $20,000 a year, and yet the perception is that everybody is an A-list actor. So I think that also bleeds into the mentality of sort of what happens when someone goes to sit down at Sue's office, or sits down at Craig's office, or sits down in front of Jen. Is that there's this perception that if you say yes to me and you decide to represent me, that it's champagne wishes and caviar dreams. So that's a psychological challenge that I've spent 3 decades talking to my community about.
It's true.
Let's throw it back to the managers. Did you guys have anything else you wanted to say after that? Manager, agents?
I think everyone just sewn that up. It's basically, they think that we are absolute miracle workers and that we can just pull jobs out of our ears like magicians, like
And
rabbits
like
out
it's
of a
up
hat,
to us.
and we can't. Yeah.
Like-
And I like to work with talent who are actually investing in themselves, and and asking a friend, "Oh, can you film me? Can we write something together? Can we make something together?" And just it has to be your love and your passion and your craft. And when I see them just waiting for me, "Oh, I haven't heard from you. Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
Send them to me, Sue. I'll straighten them out for you.
Oh,
Appreciate that, Kevin.
I'll take the onus right off your back.
that is amazing.
There's this thing called Sue Special. So basically, if they get a Sue Special, they know they've really just. But to be honest, I've lost one in the past. Oh my goodness me! Past 3 years, 4 years, I only lost one. Where they just wanted to go to a bigger agency, which is fine, and I accept that, and I always wish everybody luck. But I've only lost one, so I haven't done too badly. They usually just cry on my shoulder, which is also quite nice. So yeah.
Is that a problem? Do you lose clients? None of
I've
my
lost
problems.
one.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have asked.
No, is that
Mine was a
my
reality
shoulder?
star. A reality star that wanted, just expected because she was a reality star, that she should have it all given to her on a plate. So I said, bye. It's fine, go. While I drink my tea.
While you drink your tea. That's fabulous.
While I
Wow.
drink my tea.
I feel like that's
Yeah,
very
Yeah,
British.
I feel like that's a bless your heart. That's what I feel like that is. I feel
I-
like
Oh,
she
bless your heart.
Yeah.
I feel like that's what it was.
And she sent me the text like a couple of weeks after I came out of intensive care with COVID. So yeah.
Oh.
Nice.
I you know, it's kind of funny. I have a story similar to that too, where I had someone turn to me. We just signed them, and they had only been in a Burger King commercial, and they turned to me and said, "Hey, Green Lantern's starting up. Can you submit me against Ryan Reynolds for Green Lantern?" And I said, "Wait a second, you were just at a Burger King commercial. That's all you got on your demo reel, and you want to go up against Ryan Reynolds?" I said, "If I send that to Warner Brothers, they're gonna think I'm punking them like Ashton Kutcher. You know, I mean." I said, "I'm not sending it over there to them."
That's hard to send in for a co-star on Stranger Things, Craig.
Yeah.
I mean, let's bring that way down from Green Lantern.
And I'm
Too.
like,
Did they stay? Did they stay with you, or did they go, or did you pull the plug? What happened?
I ended up releasing them. I said, "Sorry, I think you want better things. I'm sorry. Goodbye. You want bigger things. You know." It's
Off you go,
interesting because
tell
I
her.
end up. I don't put up with it. I just release them. I just say
Yeah,
bye. I had a Canadian hockey player, and he was overseas in Thailand doing something for the Travel Channel overseas in Thailand. I got him a gig for that, and his friends started posting underneath his pictures on our agency page, and I asked them, "Stop having your friends post and doing these funny things. It's a business page." And he's like, "Well, I can't stop them." And he made a joke out of it. He goes, "You need me more than I need you." And I said, "Hold on a second." And I started typing, and he heard in the background. And I said, "Where do I send my release of contract to while you're in Thailand?" And I emailed them all in Thailand, and Travel Channel heard about it, and they pulled out of Thailand and left him in Thailand with his return ticket. I just was like, "Bye." And I released
That's
him his
going to leave a
contract.
mark.
Yeah.
That's going to leave a mark.
But we really do work so hard. We do try, and we
do.
do. Jen said it at the beginning. We are submitting and we're pitching, and we've got to try and get as many in one day. And it's not easy. And when you do come up against things like that, it's quite sad. It's quite sad.
Sue,
I have
John,
a question that kind of piggybacks on
go
that.
ahead.
I was wondering if
Go
you guys
for
would
it.
answer that.
Go ahead.
What qualities do you look for in the people you work with or represent? Like, what makes a great business partner when it comes to creatives, making your job easier?
Who wants to
What
go
do I look
first?
for? Personality,
for it.
I think. Personality. Somebody who's got their shit together. Excuse me,
Yeah.
can I say that?
Yeah.
Someone who's got it
Yeah,
together.
please do.
Yep.
Yeah. So someone who has got the headshots, the show reel, the voice reel, the
Yeah.
part-time job, and knows that they're still going to go to workshops. They might need some voice coaching. They might need, and they'll invest in their career as much as you will invest in them with your time. Yeah. So basically, somebody who's got the personality and the get-go and wants it, but not desperate. I don't like the desperate ones.
That is
Jen,
that's
ahead.
being desperate is like that's a repellent because
Right.
it's just bad. So but exactly what Sue was saying though, like have it all together. Let me see that you've already like you've already been on this path and you're continuing that path regardless if we work together or not.
Yeah,
And so when I see that, then I'm like, okay, because I want someone who works just as hard as I do.
What's a day like?
Without having to tell them what to do all the time. So.
And Craig?
There's a chapter in my book that's called To Be a Professional. And to be a professional doesn't have anything to do with how old you are, with how many credits you have, how much money you've made, or how much money, to Craig and everyone's point, how much you think you should make. To me, it's if and I've done this many times, and I continue to do it. Like I said, y'all just send them to me. I'll straighten them out. In terms of, I think that if I were a representative, I want somebody to have the proper professional perspective. Sure, you want to have the proper tools. Of course you do. That's just kind of a given to me, like breathing. But proper professional perspective is what, and it's not new. Don't think it's just digital technology or just influencers. Or no, it's been a problem since I first started talking to actors in 1991. So you either have the proper professional perspective, or you're probably going to be a real challenge for your representative.
Very well said.
I have a question.
Go for it, Joe.
Okay, so one of the things that I hear, and as with any industry, it seems like some of your either aspiring talent who's looking to, get representation, they do not realize the amount of time that it takes to develop your client, whether it's someone who is new to their industry or someone who is, you may have received them from another agency. So can you compare and contrast, or let us know generally how much time does it take to just get the onboarding process started with a new talent?
Well, if you're brand new to the business, we're not the first stop to come. And at least with me, like you need to go and train on your own, like, whatever you need to do, and to get to a place that then you can submit to an agent. I kind of equate it just like real estate. Like, if your house is ready to be put on the market, then that agent can go for you. But if you've got things to fix and, that you're not ready, like that real estate agent can't do anything. So it really is like this exact same scenario. So you got to have your house in order, ready, for then the agent to look at to see where it fits in the market.
And then how long from that point of picking them up till they actually book their first job? Like immediate?
That's a tough one to answer, because
audition one, audition 101.
I've taken on talent. I've taken on talent, and within the first week, it's like bam, bam, bam. They're hot, and everyone wants them. And then I've taken on talent. It's taken me 7 months, 8 months, 9 months for the right role, because you're not going to fit every single role. But there's some, it happens immediately, and they think, oh my God, I'm so glad I'm with you soon. And there's others that say, oh, when's it going to be my turn? You just don't know.
You really
don't know.
There's so many other factors. Like we're not the wizards that they think that we are. Like Sue said, there are so many factors that are not in any of our control. I don't care how amazing you are, or even if casting loved you, there's still other factors that aren't even in their control. So there's just no way of us ever being able to accurately predict that for somebody.
So is that where you come in, Kevin, to help them prepare before they even get to that point?
All of the above, Jojo. I mean, I'm building an online program now just because of having closed my organization 6+ years ago. But it doesn't matter whether you have never done a thing and you're 17 or never did a thing and you're 40 and decide you want to do this, or whether you're somebody who's been doing it for 10 years. And like Sue just said, or Craig has experienced, it doesn't matter whether you're hot at first and then it cools off for months, or you're hot for a while and your career goes down, or you decide to get married and have a baby and you're trying to come back to the industry. It doesn't really matter. Our perception and mentality tends to be the thing that takes us down. And again, the difficulty of what Jen and Sue and Craig know, makes it even worse. I mean, guys, ladies, you guys know this. I've joked about this. I had to read for Castle 6 times. I had to read for Bones 5 times. I had to read for a Y50 3 times. I read for Criminal Minds once. I mean, I promise you, if there was a formula to how you make millions of dollars in this business, my ass would have found it a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
We all would have already found it.
Yeah, I mean, it's just, you got to believe in who you are as a person, or believe in what you do as an agency or your identity. And you have to have your professional standards, and you got to trust your gut. But you also have to work hard. And unfortunately, and that's why I get to say it, because I've been doing it for a long time, my community in general doesn't really like the 4-letter word work in general. Not obviously not everybody, but in general, they don't.
Craig, you have been quiet for the last 2 questions. So if you want to catch up now, please do so.
No, I think borrowing with what everybody said, especially what Kevin just said about having the gut, in your gut about when talent come in. Our agencies are really thorough. You have to go through a 5-step vetting process to even get into our agency. And I took it out of the hands of the talent managers a long time ago to make the decisions of whether or not a talent is going to be signed by us. So my talent managers are powerless to sign a talent. They do an interview, but then it goes to our talent relations department and they vet the talent. They look at the reels. We have people in our agency that all they do is review reels and self-tapes. They come back and they give a review of that reel before we sign the talent. They have to fill out an application, a request for representation form before they even meet with the talent manager. And it goes through a 5-step process in our agency. Then it goes in front of a committee to decide whether or not they're going to be signed by our agency before they're even offered the talent representation contract. So we have a 5-step process and every talent goes through that 5-step process. And there we field out personalities and we field out their credentials and we field out who they are. And it's proven to be, a good litmus test for us. One thing I did want to add though, being a talent, being an actor is an art. But I also have been saying a lot lately in my interviews and stuff, and I think I said it in the 25 hottest thing, that being a talent manager or a talent agent is an art. We are artists too.
Yeah.
There is an art to what we do. And I think that that's not said enough, that there is some kind of, there's an art. They put, and I always have a saying what I tell talent is that when they go on set, that's their art, okay? My talent are the only art I'm known for. My talent are my Picassos. And I will not hang my talent in an art gallery, so to speak, in air quotes, until they're ready. And because that reflects badly on me as from a casting director or production company standpoint, and our shortest term contract when talent first signed with me is exclusive for 3 years that we're their manager. I have talent that are on 1 year left on their contract for their 3 year. They just re-up their contract for another 4 years to stay in our agency. For talent, influencers and actors to stay in it. They have a year left. We said, are you guys going to stay with us beyond a year? They said, yep. I said, well, our next step up is a 4-year contract. And they said, sure, we'll sign it. And they signed it and they stayed with us for another 4 years. So I'm going to get them for 7 years because they've been successful in their careers and they show up, these talent. They do their headshots. They go and get their headshots done. My UK talent, just during COVID, we're keeping John Clark pretty much in business, the headshot photographer in London there, going to his headshots. I don't know, Sue, if you know him or not, but he shot Claire's Foy's headshot for The Crown and the recent Princess Diana actress for The Crown. And so my talent go to him and getting headshots done during COVID. They keep it social distance, the way he set it up in the studio, but they get their headshots done. They've been working on their admin stuff while COVID's been going on. They've been working on their websites. I've been encouraging them to work on their Instagram. I've been encouraging them to do.
That's what I've been doing, socials. There's always something they can do.
There's always an admin.
They can do.
And
Absolutely.
and talent don't realize there's an admin function to the business side of what they need to do. And they don't know that. And
just send them to me.
I'd like to say something before we jump in here. When he says vetting, he's not joking. We got vetted to interview him, and then he just asked the question at the end, and I was like, "Where'd you find that?"
My assistant.
We thought we had
my
successfully
assistant found that. Yeah.
We buried it on purpose.
They thought
they found it. They found it. Yeah. They're pretty good.
Don't any of your lot go with their gut, because I tend to use my gut a little bit. I need to get to know them. I need to talk to them. I need to and my gut instinct is I'll know if you're going to be rubbish, if you're going to not stick around, or if you're just using me as a building block. But I go with my gut instinct, and I think even in the past, casting directors and even directors used to spend time with talent during self-tapes face to face. And I think that the industry has lost a bit of that over the past 5 years. Casting directors would pull people aside and go, let's go for a walk, let's go for a chat. What do you think about the role? What would you change about? And we've lost a lot of that. We've lost a bit of heart in the industry, in the entertainment industry. And I'd like to see that come back, the heart.
I think
your question? Oh, sorry, Jen.
No. I think I agree, and I think when streaming came on, and and casting is getting the push from production faster, and probably less money. They're just trying to keep up also with the demand that's being put on generating content. Instead of spending a longer time, to make a film, they are just trying to just get it out there before all of the streaming platforms.
I agree with that.
Jade, your question, and then
Jen.
Joe, your question.
Okay, so my question is, how important is relationships in business, especially the business behind being creative? How important is a relationship? Like with people, with business relationships.
Number one.
It's the most important.
Yeah.
That's number one.
People want to work with people that they like.
That's right.
It's
That's right.
extremely
Okay.
important. It's extremely important. I had a talent recently. I signed them to a film studio that moved from LA to San Diego because they're trying to attract more theatrical, more roles down there, because San Diego mostly does commercial filming down there. So they're trying the filming association down there, the government body that gives out grants and stuff to film and tax credits. They're trying to attract more theatrical filming down there, movies and TV shows. And one of my talent auditioned for a role. I sent him the self-tape, and the studio came back to me, and I said, well, if you want him to be in this, because it was like a teaser clip to get the funding from the film commission. And I said, well, if you want him to be in that, then you have to give him a 2-picture deal with your studio. And so he said, and they agreed to the terms, and they're signing it. And as the studio executive signing it, he goes, you're one good talent manager, because I haven't even met the talent yet, and you're convincing me to sign a 2-picture deal contract with your talent that I've never met other than seeing him on self-tape. I said, as soon as you sign it, I'll put a Zoom call together, you can meet him.
Oh, wow.
That personal relationship that I had with that studio got my talent signed when they didn't even meet my talent, but for him doing the self-tape.
Which goes back to what we talked about a few minutes ago of why we don't send that commercial who's only done a commercial self-tape to the studio to go against Ryan Reynolds. That's exactly why, because we have to protect our relationships, because when it matters, it matters, and it means something, and it works. So
that's fabulous.
I agree with both of them. I agree with both of them.
It did. 6 of my talent just signed 3-picture deals with a studio in Florida for theatrical, and it was just on a personal relationship. She's never met the talent. She's seen their media kits, their headshots, and their self-tapes, and she just signed 6 of them. We announced it on her Instagram that she signed 3 of my talent to project deals with her studio down there. We even negotiated the rates and everything, and she locked them in. And it's just that personal relationship that they know with us. And you got to have that also with the talent too.
Yeah,
you've got to have that, but there is a line where you don't cross with the talent, because then if you get too much involved in their lives and stuff like that, then you turn into a counselor to them. And instead of the parent-child relationship, no offense, Kevin, that you have to have with the talent, you have to have the parent-child relationship. You have to have the parent-child relationship.
I'm quite happy to be a counsellor when they need me, because the amount of suicides of young people and old people, in the entertainment industry in the UK is disgraceful. So if they are feeling like nobody wants them, you have to encourage them. You have to listen to them once in a while and hear what they have to say, because this is a very traumatic. Doctors and nurses and police, and they go through trauma in their days, and they've got people they can turn to. We need that in this entertainment industry as well.
I didn't mean it like that. I didn't mean it like that, Sue. I know. We have a mental health program in our agency, by the way, too, that's open to all of our talent. That we have.
Hey, I'm sending all my talent to CK.
Me too. I'm like,
hey.
They've only got me, myself, and I. They're all joining CK. I'm going to send them an email tomorrow.
At the end of the day, relationships are based on trust, and it doesn't matter whether it's intimate, sibling, parental, or representative. You have to trust your talent has to trust you. And from our end, we have to show up when required to show up, and we have to be prepared, and that's where the trust starts. And from that point,
Okay, let's talk
yeah.
about trust, Kevin. None of my talent have a contract with me. Not one single one has
Yeah.
a contract with me.
And if I were a talent of yours, Sue, for the way that I was raised, the way I live my life, I wouldn't need one either, because I'm a person of my
Absolutely.
word. But
Yeah.
again, that's part of what I consider to be sort of the essence and identity of who somebody is and how they choose to run their life. Because however one chooses to run their business or their company, and I've done both, and also been, an actor as well. It still comes down to whether you have to believe in what you believe in, and you have to believe in your roster and who they are. And when you send them in and casting sees it, then over the course of time, of course, then they trust you, the representative, be an agent or a manager. And that's how Craig can manage to get off of just using tools and an email to get people signed to a contract, because they trust him that those people are not only going to be what's on the reel, but they're also going to actually show up, not just physically, but artistically. So
Absolutely.
it's all based on trust. You can't, I mean, in my category, I'm in the toughest category in Hollywood, and I always have been. And it's even worse now over the age of 40 and not being a star. But if that person doesn't trust that you're going to knock it out of the park every single time you have an audition, you're not going to keep represented at a certain age in Los Angeles, because they just can't afford to. I mean, I have an audition I have to do 15 minutes after we get off this thing. Scruffy drunk, ladies. That's why I look like this today. Scruffy drunk. Basically Charles Bukowski, but let's not judge. Only he's a creepy guy. But it's just based on trust, and that's punctuality. It's professionalism. It's like Sue just said, it's also, if you need help, trusting that you would say to your representative, listen, I'm in a bad space. I mean, I have 8 actor friends who've committed suicide in my time in Los Angeles. So this is just a reality. But the word trust belies every single relationship we all have. And this business doesn't change that.
Okay, this is a beautiful place to end. I want to see if Tanya or Joe have a question, because they've been kind of quiet. So if you do,
Well,
and
we're
if you
just
guys can
soaking up
answer
the
it and maybe
information.
I'm sorry.
I'm just soaking up the information.
And
Fabulous.
Kevin pretty much summed up what my question was, and that had to do with the trust establishment early on, with the talent. And so yeah, you were spot on with that, Kevin. Thank you.
Okay.
I would just ask if you have any final tips to boost the business side of a creative's career that would help you guys. Just for your talent, are there any tips you would give them to help boost the business side?
Just make sure that they've got everything together, that they've got everything they need, their tools. Make sure that they're still, casting directors are running classes online and stuff. Do those. Let the casting director get to know you, see how you work, and get to know your name. Don't be afraid to keep improving your craft. Don't be afraid to do that. Just keep improving your craft, because I learn something new every day, and I've been doing this for years, but don't be afraid to build on what you already have.
Yeah.
Jen and Craig?
I tell my actors to every single day, just focus on being the best actor, the best human being, the best you. Just focus on that all around, like everything, because you will bring that to the business. So
Craig?
I agree with Jen and Sue. It's every day them focusing and hitting and expanding their craft. It's expanding their repertoire. It's so very, very important. And the talent that do that, and I'll throw this back to Jen and Sue, those tend to be our more successful talent. Our talent that regularly book things. Because those are the talent that are in it to win it. And then as opposed to the other talent that just sit on the couch and eat bonbons and expect that we're going to find them things, and then you never hear from the talent. And I've reached out to talent, and they don't even respond to me. And and they're signed with me, and I'll ask them do a self tape, and I'll get it 3 weeks later, and I'm like, the casting director's not going to wait 3 weeks later for a self tape, And meanwhile I'm sending them emails, my assistant's following up with them. We're sending out flares in the air to them, and they're not responding. And then I get well, my dog ate my homework kind of responses sometimes too. And it's just like, and those talent tend to be left behind as you're moving, because the staff is going to focus on those talent that are in the game, that have their headgear on, you know, and again, it goes back to trust and working together. And I tell talent this: if I'm rowing a rowboat to shore, and the shore is your end goal of what you want to be as an actor or a talent, if I'm rowing just my oar, we're going to go in circles. We need to be rowing both oars together to get to shore. That's what I tell the talent when I speak to them. We need to row this boat together. We need to both be doing our jobs and be effective about it. And if you're not being effective and helping me row the boat, we will not get to shore. And again, trust is so very, very important. I have to trust them as much as they trust me. You know, one of my clients, she's 75, and she calls me her dad. You know, and she's 75 years old. And Sue, you'll like this. She's Princess Diana's aunt.
Oh wow! What, in real life?
Yeah, real life.
Real
Yeah,
life? Oh wow!
Yeah, she lives 20 minutes from Meghan Markle and Prince Harry in LA.
And she's just announced that she's pregnant, you know, with baby number 2 after the miscarriage as well. So congratulations to them. Congratulations to them.
She's very, very, very excited about it. She's Lord Fermoy's daughter. So she's Princess Diana's mother's sister.
Well, like I said, Craig, on occasion, feel free to just email me those people who take 3 weeks to do a self-tape, because
you'll crack the whip.
I'm old enough to talk to anybody like a parent at this point. Tanya,
agents need counselling sometimes too. We need to let them see.
Tanya,
everything they've said is right. Everything everyone said is right. Craig and Jen, I agree.
That's the last thing, because we need to make sure you have time to get ready for your scruffy drunk.
Yes, absolutely.
Don't you worry, love. I trust myself. I'm not saying that playing a creepy, scruffy drunk is a stretch. I'm just saying. But Tanya, to your question, I would say this in terms of, and I'll just do it from the chair of that I'm sitting in on this panel, is one of the tips that I would say to actors when I speak would be, find the joy in being the solution, not the concern for trying to book the job.
I love that.
That's nice.
Because at the end of the day, that's really what we do. We just solve problems and fill gaps. And there has to be a joy in that when you go to step in an audition, as opposed to just, you know, again, the line from Chorus Line, God, I hope I get it. I get that, but at some point there's a transition to that makes the talent you already have come alive much more than if you didn't. So that's what I would say in parting.
Thank you.
Wow, awesome. That's
okay.
fabulous.
This is a great place to end. So I'm going to say, Tanya and Joe, can you please tell people where they can find out more information about you? I would say for the panelists, but I'm sure they probably don't want to be found right now. They have enough to do. No, I'm joking.
Joe, do you want to go first?
Oh, sure. You can find out about me on Joe Sands, joesandsvoice.com, on Instagram, the Joe Show podcast, and pretty much that's about it, I think.
Well, you could also find your beautiful voice reading the And I Thought Ladies books.
Yes, you can. With several of them. And I Thought Divorce Was Bad, and I Thought Growing Up was Easy, and
If Only I Were Me.
If Only I Were Me. A memoir in verse will be coming out very shortly. So, and there are several other books out there on Audible where you can find my voice at.
Absolutely.
And I am Ms. Tanya Todd on all social media platforms. My website is www.mstanyatodd.com. I am at the 52 Love podcast, and keep an eye on IMDb because I hope to have a really cool announcement there soon.
Yay! I mean, we keep an eye on it every day. We click every day, so your numbers can go up. But y'all,
bless you.
I'd like to walk back what I said before. Panelists, if you guys want to, if y'all would like to tell people where they can find the Instagram or something like that, so they can follow your agency, then please feel free. If you don't, then
we need to at least let Kevin voice where to find his stuff.
Yes.
I'm at the Kevin E. I'm pretty easy to find. You put Kevin E. West in Google, and unfortunately, due to my background, it's pretty simple. But I am like you, Tanya. I did 2 episodes of The Righteous Gemstones right before COVID, and Danny McBride has not figured out yet what they're doing with season 2. And so I am sitting here waiting for HBO to call. So not really waiting, doing nothing else, but I'm hoping that at some point they decide to finally finish shooting season 2. So I'm pretty much all over the place. So I'm not a hard guy to find.
And also click on his IMDb page. I don't think you need that help getting jobs, but whatever.
Oh, yes, I do.
One click.
Does anyone else want to talk about their social media for their agency?
Craig.
I'm on Twitter and on Instagram. Just opaque artist, and my website is also opaque artist. So nothing flash there.
Fabulous. Craig or Jen?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram. JL David Agency is the agency, and the Jen David is my personal, but yet it's it's still for business. Yeah.
Right.
Everything else kind of links from there, so you can find other links on those pages.
Craig?
You can find us at cktalent.com and at cktalent on Instagram.
Fabulous. Thank you so much. You can find out everything your ladies are doing on www.andwethought.com, or for the abbreviated version, you can go to
www.andithoughladies.com.
So peace and love, y'all. And thank you so much for joining us. And remember, wisdom is all around you.
If you're open to oh my goodness.
If you're open to finding it and accepting it. Wow, we'll know that you broke your streak. It's been like 2 years you were saying it right. All right, well, on that note. Bye. Bye.